Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you guys doing? Marcello, welcome in. Today we got another interesting live. Hey, Aiden, how you doing? Welcome in, everyone. How you guys doing today? Okay, thank you guys. I see you guys already hitting the likes. Hey, Sharon, how you doing? Welcome in. Hey, Max, how you doing? How you doing? Clips to a yo, how you doing? Marion, welcome in. Welcome in. Timothy, big whoa, good to see you. Good to see you. Ninja, welcome in. Hey, Mark, man, how you doing? Hey, hi, James, Toby, good to see you. Good to see you. Also, make sure you say what's up to Marco. Marco's also in here again today. You know, Marco's playing no games. Marco is playing no games with the. He is with it today. So make sure y'all say what's up to Marco. He has his finger ready on the button to kick anybody out. Charles, where do you do live? I'm actually visiting family right now out here in the UK at the moment. Hey, Landon, how you doing? Christopher, welcome in. Gotta rep my city. Welcome in. Welcome in. Compton, welcome in. How you doing from Compton? What's good? Tamir, welcome in. Collate dippers. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, let's just get the likes up and make sure you check in. Hey, Timothy, welcome in. Welcome in. The media went off on the clips. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I know. I saw that. It's expected. Welcome in from Maryland. I was actually born in Maryland, so that's somebody from the town. So welcome in. Appreciate that. Hope everybody's doing good out there in Maryland. Yeah, Luca's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. So make sure you hit the likes, guys. Let's give everybody about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to get in. Let's just chop it up with all of you. So let's wait for everybody to get in. We got a good live today. We're going to be talking about the Clippers versus the Mavs, and we're also going to talk about the Lakers versus the Suns. So we're going to have a good live for all of you today. So let's just give everybody a chance to get on in here. Do you think LeBron should have been suspended? You know what, man? I don't really know. Welcome in from Lebanon. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. I don't know, because to be honest with you, what I'm beginning to understand is that I don't know much about what happens inside the NBA, because we don't work inside the NBA. We're outside that industry. We're just like most of you. So I don't know what went into that decision. You know what? I don't really have an opinion, and it doesn't really matter, really. My opinion, I'm beginning to believe Marcus Morrissey and Reggie Jackson need to play better. I totally agree with you. Yes, let's just wait for some more people to come in. Make sure we get the likes up. You see, that's ESPN bothering me right now. ESPN, you see, they're talking about the playoffs MVP. Who's the MVP of the playoffs? I don't know how you can have an MVP of the playoffs with just one game played. So who knows right now? Let's see. Okay, let's give it about another minute and a half. Let me see who else is in here. Make sure you guys check in. Rondo needs to start. Let me see. Did you say KP in the club? KP. Kristaps Porzingis. Yes. He played well. Yeah, Deuce Don, welcome in, man. You finally caught us again. We just like to do these at random times, man, so nobody expects it. So let me see. The nerd, Nick Wright, is good. Right? Okay, good friend. Let's wait about another minute. Make sure you get the likes up, guys. Make sure you get the likes up. We're trying to get the likes. Let's get the likes up to like 100 or as many likes as you can, so we wait so more people get notified. They better play Terrence Mann. They leaked a pic of his in a nightclub. Who was in the nightclub? Kristaps Porzingis? Is that the person y'all are talking about? I'm not sure about that. I didn't follow that. I didn't hear that story about Kristaps Porzingis. Was Kristaps Porzingis the one that was in the club? Yeah, Donald. What's his name's Kawhi Leonard's dunk, man. That's why he's my guy. But I'm going to get on Kawhi a little bit today as well. Okay, Porzingis, you went to the club. Oh, again, Somebody just asked me about the LeBron thing. Should he have gotten suspended? Now someone is telling me that Kristaps Porzingis was seen in the club. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on. Silver Spring, Young G. That's the part I'm from. Do you think the Clippers can still win in 5? I definitely want to see how they play today. If they, I want to, I mean, not today, tomorrow. I want to see how they play tomorrow, and then we'll definitely have a good chance. Okay, let's give it about 10 more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Let's give it about 10 more seconds. So make sure you get the likes, and then we get started. Give about 10 more seconds. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already, to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button so we get the notifications out. Secondly, worth noting, I know some people maybe forgot or not aware, we're chatting live pretty much all throughout these playoffs. We were on there yesterday for the Lakers versus the Suns game on Dreamerspro Max. We had a hell of a time. It was a lot of fun. So if you guys haven't joined Dreamerspro Max yet, make sure you guys go ahead and check out Dreamerspro Max. It's an online sports community where you start basketball discussion, but also we chat live during games. You guys can do that. Marco's going to link the description, put the link in the comment section here for you guys to check that out. You can get 7 days of access, so you have nothing to worry about. So you're covered at least for the first round. So you guys want to make sure you're part of that if you want to be a part of the live chatting that we do. But also know that we're going to do a live after games, depending on when they finish. So like we did the other day, we couldn't finish early. The game finished a bit late. So we ended up doing a live the following day. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Anyway, so let me get into this video here. Keep the comments coming, and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can as we go on, as we go on. Okay, so let's get into it here. So first of all, let's talk about a quick recap of game 1. Now, if you guys remember, for those of you guys that were part of that live, the last live that we did in game 1, you guys remember that I said I had 2 major questions going into that game. There were 2 major questions I needed to be addressed. The first one was, what were the lineups that the Clippers were going to use in game 1? If you guys remember, if you guys were a part of that live, you'll know, or you remember at least, that I spoke about that. I said, because I don't know what type of lineup the Clippers are going to use, I had some trepidations as far as making any predictions because I didn't know what the lineups they were going to use. Excuse me. And going into that game, it looked like Ty Lue himself wasn't exactly sure about the lineups he wanted to use, because I think he played about 8 to 9 players in that game. Because I know his starting 5 played. I know Terrence Mann played, and what's his name? Reggie Jackson played. So I know he played a lot of players. I'm sure that's not what he wanted to do. Another thing is, going into game 1, I wasn't really sure what to expect from the series, given how they were going to play Luka. And after y'all saw how Luka played, you saw that the Clippers figured out in that first half that the lineup or the strategy that they were using was simply not good enough, because Luka was taking advantage of them all throughout the first half. Now, in the second half, they did a much better job in limiting him, and he only scored, I think, 1 point in the fourth quarter, to be honest. So the Clippers did a very good job adjusting, which is something I gave a lot of credit to Ty Lue, because they saw that something wasn't working. They did it. We said on Dreamerspro Max, I said it during the game on game 1. I said, listen, I said the Clippers may have to consider going small, because they're getting destroyed on those pick and rolls. So that was one of the things. The second thing I said going into that game was, how was Paul George going to play? If you guys remember, I said, Paul George, I need to see how he plays in game 1. I need to see where his mind is at, where his game is at. That's one of the things I said. So those are my 2 biggest questions. Those are my 2 the 2 things I was looking at going into that game. Now, let me quickly say this, because while we're doing a recap, and then we'll get into the next game. Paul George did not play well in the first half. He didn't play horrendously, but he didn't play well. In the second half, I think Ty Lue, with his coaching staff and Rondo, were able to put Paul George in a position to be more successful. That's number 1. Number 2, you got to give him credit, because he hit like 2 or 3 3-pointers in the second half. So coming out of that game, no one is, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Paul George is the reason. Could he have played better? Yes, but everybody could have played better, including Marcus Morris Sr., including Reggie Jackson, including Kawhi Leonard. So everyone could have played better. They lost that game as a team, and I'm not going to put it on Paul George. I also know that I heard a bit of it today on Undisputed, where I think Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp were calling Paul George pandemic. I didn't see any of that pandemic stuff, to be quite honest with you. I didn't see it. And listen, if we're going to start calling Paul George pandemic P, and we're going to keep calling it that, then we got to come up with a nickname for Anthony Davis. We got to call him Atrocious D, because Anthony Davis is playing worse than Paul George. If he continues, people need to be balanced, and they need to start getting on him too. It's not right. AD is not playing well. Period. End of story. We're not going to just keep beating on Paul George like a dead horse. And Anthony Davis is not playing well. So when Shannon Sharp was out there saying all of that, y'all call him A Disney. When Shannon Sharp is out there saying all of that, AD didn't play well either. He didn't play good as well. And we're going to get to that Lakers and Suns game in a little bit, because we were on live chatting about that game. Was it yesterday? So again, if you go for the new people in the chat, make sure if you guys want to be a part of our live chatting during the playoffs, make sure you guys sign up to Dreamerspro Max and get 7 days of access. Marco's going to link the description, link Dreamerspro Max in the comment section, so you guys can definitely check that out. So those are some of the things that I wanted to say. Now, moving on. The Clippers pick and roll defense was not good. This is a challenge that this team has had pretty much for the majority of this season. The Clippers have not been very good defending the pick and roll. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is those switches on Zubac really, 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 really hurt them. It just did. Whenever Luka Doncic got that switch, you could see him beginning to lick his chops, because he was like, here goes the barbecue chicken. Welcome in, Candace DeLeo. He was like, here comes barbecue chicken. And he took advantage of him every single time. That game plan was not working, and that's the reason why they needed to trap him. Eventually, they ended up needing to go small, which is something I suggested in the live chat during the game. So I think going into game 2, I think the Clippers are going to start Zubac and Patrick Beverley in game 2. I don't think the Clippers are going to make a drastic switch, personally. I think if they do make a switch, I think the switch you will most likely see, the Clippers are probably going to see, you're probably going to see Serge Ibaka replace Zubac before you see them make a change at the point guard position, because Serge can play the passing lanes on those pick and rolls, and he's also good on he's good at what do you call it? He's good at defending it. He's good at defending, because if you beat him, Serge still has enough athleticism and quickness for his size to still contest the shot going to the rim. Now, Luka Doncic is a very crafty scorer, so there are times where Serge was able to affect his shot, and there were other times when they weren't. Now, the Clippers as a team overall did a much better job on Serge in the second half of that game. I mean, on Luka in the second half of that game, because he only shot 30% from the field in the second half. He went 3 of 10. So the Clippers look like they figured something out. But I don't think that they're going to make a drastic lineup change. I don't think they're going to change the point guard and then change the center. I think if they do make a change, it'll probably be at the center position, because really that was the weak point of their defense. Another thing, let's talk about Patrick Beverley. I see you guys are coming in with the comments. Let me get to some of your comments for a second. Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button, guys. Let's get the likes to 100 likes, so we get the notifications out. Let me just go through some of your comments while we do that. Let's take our time today. Let's see. What do you guys are saying? Those switches suck. No, yeah, I think somebody said it. It's not even just a switch. It's drop coverages. They're switching. They're hoping that their man can stay in front of Luka, because they don't want to double him. But, Luka Doncic is he's a very good playmaker, plain and simple. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Backboard and no one. Yeah, LeBron and AD hitting the side of the backboard, and no one is talking about it, because it's not that no one is talking about it. It's just that the very few voices that exist are not talking about it. There are a lot of people out there that are talking about it, I'm sure. It's just that you won't see them. This is just my personal take on all of that. Clippers need to be quicker and attack the rim. I agree with you. Let me go through what else. Somebody left this. Okay, thanks for that. Clippers should take a page out of the Blazers book. Take away Luka's playmaking. Let him go for 30. Play, man, and go for on the screen. Yeah, I understand, but the thing is this. you're not just risking Luka going for 30. Luka can go for 45 if you're not careful. He can go for 45. He's good enough to do it. And eventually he's going to break loose. The thing you don't want to happen is the guy get into a rhythm and then start making plays. That's the problem. Because the guy, he's the point forward. He handles the ball, you put him at the top of the key, and he puts your entire defense in jeopardy. This is the gamble that the Clippers took, because now you're going to play the Mavs, and the Mavs are a tough matchup. They're a very, very, very tough matchup. There are no two ways about it. The Western Conference is tough. No matter who you draw in a series, they're going to be tough. Just last night, the number 8 seed beat the number 1 seed. What's the team? The Memphis Grizzlies beat the Utah Jazz. That right there should tell you everything you need to know about the Western Conference. There is no easy path to the finals. There's none. And the Lakers, I think the Lakers who were tanking not to play the Clippers, I think the Lakers may find themselves in a dogfight, which we're going to get to later on, as you'll see. Because the Suns yesterday, they looked poised for a fight. They did. So that's that. Let me continue on. Let's talk about Patrick Beverley. As I was saying, Patrick Beverley cannot guard Luka Doncic. Hey, Rambo, welcome in. He cannot guard Luka Doncic. He just can't. It won't work. As Luka Doncic said himself, he's too small. But the reality is, he is too small. He's just too small. No. I think you got it the other way around. I think the Lakers dodged the Clippers. No, you got it the other way around. The Lakers dodged the Clippers. But anyway, he's too small. He can't guard him. So going into this next game, I would consider the Clippers start doing some cross matching on defense. This is actually what I would do. I would cross match on defense. What I would do is this. Because Patrick Beverley, if you're going to start Patrick Beverley, he can hold his own. What I would do is this. I would start, just a second. I never understood doubling playmakers. So yeah, I would start Paul George on Luka. We're talking about cross matching now. So on offense, Paul George is going to play his position, but on defense, they're going to put Paul George on Luka, and Luka's man. And the man that Paul George was guarding, I'll put Paul George on him. Let me see, starting 5: Rondo, PG, Kawhi, Morris, and Serge. Yeah. Thanks for that. So that's what I would do. So I would put Paul George on what's his name? I would put Paul George on Luka Doncic. Then I would now alternate between Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Nicholas Batum on Luka Doncic. I would want Luka Doncic to see, first of all, a lot of length, a lot of size, and physicality all the time, all game long. The fact of the matter is this. He can take advantage of that matchup on Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley isn't big enough to play him. So I would definitely change up who I have on him. I would also consider starting Serge, as I said before. Another reason I'll start Serge, apart from his defense, is also because of his spacing. Why am I talking about the spacing that Serge Ibaka brings? Because Marcus Morris Sr. went 0 for 6 from the 3. One of the reasons for that, apart from him having a bad night, apart from the fact that the Dallas Mavericks had some good forwards that were getting to him on time, not allowing him to get clean looks, the other reason is just that they didn't have enough spacing on the floor. You got to utilize that weapon. He's the second best three-point shooter. He was the second best three-point shooter in the NBA last season. So you got to take advantage of that. Now, moving on to Rajon Rondo. No, before we even get to Rondo, let's talk about Reggie Jackson. I would consider, this is just me, I would consider giving Reggie Jackson's minutes to Terrence Mann. This is what I would do. Because Terrence Mann, number one, is a good enough defender, or let me put it this way, he's a better on-the-ball defender and help defender than Reggie Jackson, in my opinion. Number 2, he can stretch the floor and he can hit an occasional 3. Number 3, he's a good he's a good he's a good playmaker, and he also plays good positional defense. He doesn't gamble a lot. He can play good enough man-to-man defense, and let me see what he would give me. And also, he has enough length. Because what I've understood about Reggie Jackson, although he's a great scorer, is that if Reggie Jackson is not scoring, he brings nothing else to the floor. Make sure you guys keep hitting the like button, guys. Let's get the likes to 100. If Reggie Jackson is not scoring, what else does he do? That's the only thing. Yes, exactly. And great energy, Tamir. Yes, good point. So I would rather have Terrence Mann in the game, a guy that I know is going to fight for every second he's on the floor because he wants playoff experience. He's a young player, so he's going to be easy for it. He's going to be eager for that moment. He doesn't make a lot of careless passes. Reggie Jackson is, as much as I like him, as I told you guys before, he reminds me a lot of a street baller that plays basketball. That's what he does. He reminds me a lot of a street baller that plays basketball, in my opinion. It's not that he can't play, but we got to look at what wins the series. Another thing, I don't think DeMarcus Cousins is going to get any minutes in this series. I heard some people talking about DeMarcus Cousins, but I don't think he's going to get any minutes in this series because the problem that the Clippers are having are at the 5 whenever they switch. That's the problem. Jalen Brunson, Jason Kidd 2.0. Who needs to guard him, Charles? I don't know. I don't think you can guard everybody. And number 1, Candace. And number 2, let me be completely fair with you. I haven't watched enough of his game to give an honest assessment. After game 2, I'll definitely have a better assessment of things because right now I don't know enough about his game. So I don't want to come up here and start I'm lying to you. But what I do think is this. If the Clippers do decide to go to that same lineup that they did in game 1, Ibaka on the floor opens up the floor for Kawhi. Yes, it does, Abel. Yes, thanks for that. I agree. But what I do think needs to happen is this. If they go into game 2 with the same lineup that they had game 1 and just say, maybe they have the mindset of, listen, we're going to play better. You know, there was some nerves. Paul George didn't play so well, whatever the case may be. If they notice that it's not working, I wouldn't wait an entire half to make a change. I would make a change by the end of the first quarter. That's just me. Now, I'm not a coach, but that's what I think. Yes, and that's a good point, Ebenezer. Tim Hardaway can be streaky. Yes. I see we got Ross. We got some Mad fans in here. That's good. That's good. So let me go through some of your comments. We got a lot more that we want to do. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the likes. Let's get the likes to over 100. And I'll go through some more of your comments. Any ones that I missed? We got a lot of stuff I want to cover today. Remember, guys, for the new guys that are in here, if you want to be a part of the live chatting during the game, make sure you guys sign up to Dreamerspro Max. You can get 7 days of access, so you guys will pretty much get all of the first round. If you guys want to be a part of that, we got a lot of people signing up. Make sure you go ahead and click the join. Just join. Marco's going to post the link to Dreamerspro Max in the comment section, so you guys can definitely check that out. You don't want to miss out on that. We had a ball yesterday with that Lakers and Suns game. It was a lot of fun. Let me just go through some of your comments. Do you see Isaiah Thomas? Did you see Isaiah Thomas said that Luka and Porzingis are better athletes than Kawhi and PG? I didn't see that, and I'm not sure what he means by that. Maybe he has a different definition. I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me go through some more of your comments. Yeah, they double Kawhi because Kawhi is damn good, but I'm going to get to Kawhi Leonard in a second. Let me go through some more of your comments in case I missed any. Welcome in from Jamaica. Curse is real. The Clippers are contenders, but the curse is real. Okay, if the curse is real, who put the curse on them? The Lakers? Who put the curse on them? Is it the Lakers that put the curse on them? What did they do? Who? Because if there is a curse, who's the one casting it? You can't have a curse unless somebody puts a curse on you. And I know you wouldn't put a curse on yourself. So who put the curse on them? Hey, Troy, welcome in. Let me see. I'm a Mavs fan, so okay. Doc Rivers, that's funny. The last owner. But I don't think the owner would put a curse on himself. Unless he came, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't even want to get into that. I don't even know. Clippers need to work on their defense. Okay, who do you think? Who do you have in the Bucks versus Heat? I like the Heat. I actually heard that Victor Oladipo's coming back, so I like the Heat. I like the Heat. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue on here with what I was saying. So for the Clippers, in Game 2, I think the Clippers should try to get Paul George off to a better start earlier. I really think they should, and I think that's something that they're going to focus on. Mark Law, hey, appreciate that, Mark Law. Appreciate that. I think they should definitely try to get him off to a hot start early in the game. I think that you want to make sure he has a rhythm going into the second half of that game, in just my opinion. I also want to see Kawhi Leonard, my favorite player, as you guys know. I want to see Kawhi Leonard attack all game long, because in the first half, he pretty much carried the team. Now, he finished off with good numbers, although his three-point shooting percentage was bad. He didn't have a good three-point shooting percentage, but I want to see him keep attacking, and I don't want Kawhi Leonard to settle for too many threes. That's another thing I would like to see in Game 2. Another thing worth mentioning is this. They need to find a way to get Marcus Morris Sr. going. Remember, Marcus Morris Sr. was the second best three-point shooter in the NBA. He shot 48% from the three for the season. So they need to utilize that weapon, and I don't know if it's a question of spacing. I don't know what it is. Thank God I'm not a coach, and I don't have to worry about this. But this is something that they definitely need to address. They definitely need to address this. They have to find a way to get Marcus Morris Sr. going. So to answer the question of this entire live, is this a must-win for the Clippers? Absolutely, it is a must-win. This is a must-win game for the Clippers. They can't afford to go down 0-2 to the Mavs or any team. It's not just, go down to the Mavs. You don't want to go down 0-2, period. Period. It is a must-win game. You don't need to put yourself in that type of a hole. Because if you do, you need to win now, go out and win for the next 5 games. That's absurd. So I think the Clippers need to get Game 2. And I think they will. They better, because if they don't, it could be a short series. But that's just not for the Clippers. That's for a lot of teams. They need to make sure they go ahead and win that game. There's no two ways about it. Because Dallas matches up very well with them because of their their combination of forwards that they have. You don't want to give the Dallas Mavericks a lot of confidence. You don't. You don't want them to feel like they can play with you in a series. So this is what I think. Somebody just mentioned they need to start Rondo. I wouldn't start Rondo. Kawhi was guarding KP, who had a bad game. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is good enough. He's good enough, but it's not KP. Kristaps Porzingis is not the guy that's going to beat you. It's Luka Doncic because of his ability to score and facilitate. That's the problem. And he plays at such an unusual pace that when he's going to the basket, you don't know if he's going up for a shot or a pass. He reminds me a lot of Paul Pierce in that way. You don't know what he's going to do, because he can make a pass off at the last second and hit a shooter in the corner, and boom, you think he's going up to drive. Another thing I've noticed that a lot of the Clippers, whenever Luka Doncic does beat his man, they have their back face. They have their, what do you call it? They have their back to the ball. They're not looking at who's driving. And I think sometimes the defensive awareness is not there, and they're just not communicating enough. Now, when Rondo was on the floor, he's always communicating. Even when he's not on the floor, you saw him sitting on the bench next to the coach, and he was talking. He wasn't even in the game. So I definitely think that the Clippers Game 2 is a must-win. There are no two ways about it. They must win Game 2. There's no two ways about it. They have to win that game. Let's just be real. You don't want to go down 0-2 in any series. This is just my opinion. Let me go through some more of your comments, and then we're going to get to we're going to get to that Lakers and Suns game because I want to talk about that one too. Okay, let me see. Let me go through some of your comments. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but Luka's also very crafty. You don't want to risk putting Kawhi Leonard into foul trouble. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Let me see. Let me just go through some more of the comments here. They need to get Morris started, some Cato early. No, Morris. I don't know if you. I mean Morris. Cato. I don't know if you just got in here. I said I would do a cross match on defense because Morris is probably going to be playing Kristaps. What I would do is I would cross match defensively. I will start Paul George off on Luka, not Patrick Beverly. I'll put Patrick Beverly on Paul George's man. Then I would alternate between PG and Kawhi Leonard. In that second unit, or if he comes into the second quarter, I'll put Nicholas Batum on him. You need somebody that's big enough, that has enough length, that can stay in front of Luka. They don't need somebody that he can turn around and back down into the paint or just bulldoze over like he did Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly doesn't have, as they say, he doesn't have enough bricks in his back pocket. He's just not a big enough person. Luka Doncic is 6'8", and he looks like he has a lot of weight to him. He doesn't look like he's a Kevin Durant who's 6'10", who's slim as hell. He looks like he has some size to him. So anyway, now that we said that, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button, guys. Let me get to the second topic here. Let me just see Mark Law. Can Kawhi trust his teammates scoring while he guards Luka? People are saying his defense is overrated, but it's not. Don't listen to those people. Please don't listen to them. His defense is overrated. Don't listen to them. They don't even pay attention to the box score. Luka Doncic went 3 of 10 in the second half. But you're not going to put Kawhi Leonard on Luka for an entire game because Kawhi is going to get tired and he may pick up foul trouble. What I think they need to do is throw different defenders at him, but pick a different three, not Patrick Beverly. Because Patrick Beverly is going to gamble, he's going to hack, and he may get you in foul trouble early, which is something you don't need. Personally, make sure you guys keep hitting the like button, guys. Let's try to get them to 150 likes. Okay, so let me get into the Lakers game, Lakers and Suns game. So we saw that game. Candace and some of the people in here, Bolo, I think all of them, I think they were part of that game. Was a hilarious live chat. We were on Dreamerspro Max doing that one. We had a lot of fun on that, watching that game. That game was like a comedy of errors. There were so many head-scratching moments in that game, so many highs and lows in that game that you couldn't, like, there were so many emotions in one game. And you got to hand it to Lakers. It seems like Laker games are the most dramatic games ever. There's always some drama in a Lakers game, always some kind of drama. So Chris Paul injures himself. And I was like, how lucky do you have to be that you play against a Suns team who's poised to play you, and in the first quarter, probably the best point guard in the Western Conference gets injured. I'm like, how lucky do you have to be? So we think he goes out of the game, and we think he's on. I'm like, oh my God, wow, this is not going to be fun anymore. Then he comes back. Then the Suns, Devin Booker looked like Kobe out there. He was getting lift on his jump shots. I was like, wow, this is incredible. Then we go into the second half. When we get into the second half, it becomes even worse. Then LeBron goes up. I think he was shooting a free throw. Hey, thanks, Candace. TP3 says I'll flop LeBron. LeBron goes up for a free throw. And to me, it looked like he jumped over Chris Paul because Chris Paul was boxing out. The first question you got to ask yourself is, what was Chris Paul doing there? He was boxing out for the rebound. So LeBron jumps over Chris Paul. Then he flails up in the air. This is typical LeBron. This is just a reality. Laker fans, feel any kind of way you want. Or LeBron fans, feel any kind of way you want. I don't care. Because y'all ain't got no problem laughing at Kawhi Leonard when he's getting roasted by Shannon Sharp. It's all, he like they say up there, keying. When it's Kawhi Leonard, it's all good. Let's laugh at Kawhi. Yeah, it's so funny. But when it's about your mans and them, it's not so funny anymore. So I'm going to balance it out a little bit, and I'm going to crack some jokes on LeBron James. And if y'all don't like it, y'all can go back to Undisputed and keep sipping the Kool-Aid right there. It's called balance. You're not going to go everywhere on the internet and hear the same thing. It don't work that way. So LeBron, in 2 games, had some of the biggest dramatic moments I've ever seen in my life. I can't go back to a time where I saw Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant flop like this. The last game, LeBron James said he was seeing 3 rims. 3 rims is what he said he could see last game. I can only see 3 rims. I don't even know where. If I was LeBron's son, I would text my dad and have to, like, yo, Dad, stop. Stop doing this. Stop. Come on, man, stop. Then in the game yesterday, he does a belly flop over what's his name's shoulder, Chris Paul, who he's like 6 feet taller than, 6 inches, 5 inches taller than. Think about this. He belly flops over him, flails or whatever the heck he did. He then falls on the floor, but guess what? Guess what? He falls on the floor. Did y'all see the comedy skit of Kevin Hart when he was making fun of Shaq, the way he falls? That's exactly how LeBron James fell. He fell, he landed on his forearm, hit his elbows, and grabbed his shoulder. Like, my shoulder. He's like, It's like, bro, you didn't even hit your shoulder never even touched the floor. You are 6'8", 6 foot 9 inches tall, 250 pounds, and you're acting like they dropped you from a 5-story building. And he's there, and I'm like, look at this. Are y'all kidding me? That was the biggest flop ever. He flip-flopped. I'm sorry. I never saw Kobe Bryant do that. Kobe Bryant is not soft like that. Kobe broke his finger in a game, snapped it back together. They put tape on it, came out and kept playing. Kobe is a different animal. Sorry, I don't buy it. Like Jay-Z said, we don't believe you. You need more people. I don't believe it. Every game, like the game before, I could see 3 rims. This game, like, yo, come on, son. Come on. Like, yo, come on with this. He's there rubbing his shoulder like, Like, bro, nobody hit you. You didn't even land on your shoulder. How are you pulling your shoulder? At least Chris Paul, when he got injured, you saw his neck snap. We got to stop it. And I'm like, okay, so they're going to do this. And I'm like, is he trying to get Chris Paul thrown out the game? So that didn't work. And what happened? The Suns continued on with the beatdown. He took him to the back of the shed, to the back of the back of the back. They pulled out the stick and beat down on him. Devin Booker looked like a man possessed. And there's a guy that's always in the comment section. I don't see him. I think his name is Johnny Gill, Johnny something. I haven't seen him today. He's a huge Anthony Davis fan. I haven't seen him today. He had a lot of jokes the other day. I don't see him. Where is he now? He got to be here somewhere. I know he must be watching, but he's not commenting because Anthony Davis is his favorite player. Let me tell you something. LeBron wasn't good enough that game. Let's talk about Anthony Davis. You don't have to go that far. KD's fall scary. I didn't see that one. Let's talk about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, as I said before, is not that dude. Take it from somebody that was a Kobe Bryant fan that understands exactly what that Lakers franchise is all about. Thank you, Bash. He's not that dude. I've been saying this. This is not the guy that's going to lead the Lakers after LeBron James retires. I told you this. Anthony Davis goes into game 1 of an NBA playoff game and scores 13 points, shoots 5 of 16, 60% from the free throw line, gets you 7 rebounds. To show you how pathetic of a performance that was, LeBron James, who is a small forward, out-rebounded Anthony Davis, who is a 6'10" power forward. When are we going to start talking about AD? Kobe and MJ were injured, convincing people that they were not. Exactly. Kobe and you can't compare these two dudes, man. You can't. I've never seen somebody flop so much. I don't even bring him up. I don't even talk about him no more. I like LeBron, but his antics are too much. It's too much. I seen Kobe break a finger in a game. They took him to the bench, popped his finger back together, taped it up, went out there and played. He had a broken finger. He refused to get surgery because he knew he would miss the playoffs. So he held out on surgery for an entire playoff and won the championship. What are we talking about here? Now, back to Anthony Davis, because I'm not going to let him off the hook. AD was not playing well. He was playing like garbage. I'm sorry. We're not going to do the whole thing of beating up on Paul George and people are going to come in, oh, Paul George had a better game one than him. Anthony Davis was the mismatch on the floor. They had no one really that could guard him. DeAndre Ayton can't guard AD for a series. 13 points. 13 points. And this is the dude y'all going to talk about, baby GOAT? What are we talking about here? What are we really talking about? Now, I picked the Lakers. That was one of them haters. They flew in here. One of these haters. They just flew in here. I had to smack them. I picked the Lakers to win this series in 6 games. Just like I believe the Clippers are going to win this series. However, don't underestimate the Phoenix Suns. Don't underestimate your competition. Because those guys are hungry. The person that is more determined and hungrier will always beat the person that is more talented but not hungry. It always happens. It takes more than talent to win. For your talent to be worthwhile, you actually have to put forth an effort for your talent to be now put into use. You're not just going to show up and beat everybody. AD got outplayed. It's only one game. Let's not forget what he did last year in the play. Absolutely, it's fine. What he did last year is last year. Just like what Kawhi Leonard did 2 years ago is 2 years ago. Has no bearing on what's going to happen now. Because if we're waiting on what happened in the past, we're living now in 2021. Kawhi shot 37 from the 3 for that playoffs. But now he has to do it again. 4-10 in the championship. LeBron does not have. I don't even. Exactly. Thanks for that, Tori. We got to focus on now. Look at anybody that watched that game. When you looked at Devin Booker and these guys, they were coming. Did y'all see the game with the Memphis Grizzlies? I know what's his name didn't play. Donovan Mitchell didn't play in that game. We know that. Did y'all see how the Memphis Grizzlies was trash talking the Jazz? These young boys are hungry. They're not trying to hear, I'm the number 1 seed. I'm the number 4. They don't care. Y'all saw the movie The Dark Knight. Was it The Dark Knight with what's his name? With Bane and all of that stuff? When them dudes was backing down Catwoman, and she's like, I got him in my hand. He's like, Batman looked over her and said, they know, they just don't care. These dudes don't care. They're not looking down the court and intimidated. They're not intimidated. A lot of sports has to do with intimidation. Intimidation plays a very big role in sports. Make sure you guys go ahead and keep hitting the like button, guys. It plays a big role. It gives you a mental edge. If a team feels like they cannot win, you already have an edge over them. Go back and look at those Toronto Raptors teams. They believed they couldn't beat the Lakers. I mean the Cavaliers. And once they didn't believe it, it was almost over. It was almost over. The fair thing doesn't exist. The thing with Kobe, the thing with Jordan is that people had a legitimate fear of them. I've never seen, let me tell you something. I've never seen a scenario in which any basketball player in the 20 years of Kobe Bryant playing ever talked trash to Kobe in a game and he did not take it personal within that game. You don't have to go too far back then to look at it. When they were playing what's the team? They were playing against the Denver Nuggets with J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, and J.R. Smith was trash talking Kobe. Go look at how many points Kobe dropped in that game. He dropped 49 points. He was going at what's his name? At J.R. Smith. He's like, you know who you talking to out here? These dudes knew not to mess with him. He wasn't the dude you want to play with. Who on the Lakers gives that type of energy off to a point? Who? It can't be AD because AD plays with too much finesse. It can't be with LeBron because LeBron is always flipping and flopping. So it can't be him. When you look in the face of Kobe or Jordan, you just know it's something different. You just know that. And these Suns are not afraid. When you got Devin Booker trash talking you already know you're in for a series because these boys are not afraid. Those young dudes, Bridges and all, they're not afraid. They're not afraid. And if you don't have that mental edge on your opponent, then the experience factor and all of that, then it becomes a level playing field. They're no longer afraid. You're no longer afraid. Half of it is intimidation. Those guys ain't intimidated no more. They're not. That's why the Clippers have to win this next game. Because if they lose, then the Mavs are going to look at them like, we can beat these dudes. We can beat them. So the Lakers have to win game 2. It's a must win for them too. Don't believe you're going to go down 0-2 to the Suns and snap your fingers and all of a sudden good things are just going to start happening. Let me see. Yeah. Don't just think that you're talking about he's soft. He gave it to you. It's like the dude that got into a fight gets the crap beat out of him. Everybody's holding him back like, nah, chill. You good. Let it go. He's bleaking all over his mouth and he's like, I want more. It's like they just beat you. You don't say that after losing. The Mavs and the Lakers are dog hungry. Them dudes ain't hungry, man. You can't be hungry and get 13 points in a game. You can't be hungry. That doesn't say hunger to me. Them dudes is famished. They're not hungry. Come on. You don't see dudes trash talking Jimmy Butler like that. You don't see dudes trash talking Jimmy Butler. You don't see that. I'm not letting AD off the hook because everywhere you go in the media, it's like it never happened. Oh, well, anyone talk about the Clippers? No. Don't talk about Paul George. Let's talk about AD. Because apparently everybody expects nothing from Paul George, but y'all expect something from AD. Let's talk about AD. You said they're going to clamp them. How do you know this? I got to see it. Now, I picked the Lakers to win. But it's not going to be a cakewalk. As they say, never underestimate somebody that overestimates themselves. This is the first way. This is the fastest road to embarrassment. Y'all saw Nate Robinson underestimating people. Keep it up. You'll see what's going to happen. Keep talking like that. You'll see. Just like Charles Barkley said, just keep believing. You're gonna walk up in there and people are gonna start flinching. All right. We'll see. Game 2's tomorrow. We shall see. We shall see. Let me go through some more of your comments before we wrap it up. Go through some more of these comments. We shall see. We shall see. Would the Clippers be better on? This guy said, didn't Kobe get sucker punch? You see, this to do, yo, come on. Yeah, right. It's like you sucker punch somebody in a fight, and all of a sudden you can fight, right? You just sucker punch them. They're talking, and boom, you hit them. I could fight. All right. Good luck with that. Let me see. Clippers ain't hungry. Clippers might take out Utah. Grizzlies may take out. They definitely need Donovan Mitchell back. Hey, Troy, welcome in. Welcome on. Thanks. Thanks for that. They definitely need Donovan Mitchell back. Obviously, you're going to be a different team without your best player. So hopefully they get him back. Let me see what else you got. I think a Cousins lineup with Ibaka would be great. I'm not sure about all of that, man. The Mavs have too many fast forwards. Not sure about that. They'll be too slow. I think you want to keep that kind of matchup if you play against bigger teams like the Lakers. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Colony. Okay. So I think I've answered all of your questions. I think we've covered everything in this live here. So again, guys, if you guys want to be a part of the live chat, make sure you guys don't forget to sign up to Dreamerspro Max. We're going to link that at the end of this video. Also, we got some good content coming out on the channel today. So be on the lookout for that. We got 2 videos dropping today, so be on the lookout for that. We appreciate that. I think I've answered everybody's comments. See, that's ESPN. Let me see what they said now. What just happened? They still talking about what happened in Formula 1. Don't worry about it. We are waiting for the storm. Yeah, I'm waiting for it too, man. Stop underestimating your opponents. It's a recipe. It's a recipe. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Kawhi needs to be more aggressive. I absolutely agree. Okay. So once again, guys, thank you so much for that. We did a good live today. If any of you guys who missed it, just leave your comment on the video later on, and we'll definitely try to do a next one for the next game. Thank you, guys, and stay tuned for the content on the channel. We appreciate that. Thank you, guys, for your attention, and wishing you guys a great Monday. Have a good one. Catch you guys later. All right. Peace out. Peace out.